What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. We have a lot to talk about today. Cubs fans, they were clowning on Fernando Tatis Jr. by chanting, "He's on steroids." And yeah, he responded to that all right. Corbin Carroll not only showed off his insane speed yesterday, but we're going to talk about his insane start to the season. Yankees fans are just about ready to break out the pitchforks after yesterday's game against the Minnesota Twins, and the Pirates, they were going for their 8th win in a row. Just the Dodgers, they tried to make an epic comeback. Before we get into all the highlights from yesterday, a quick reminder: if you're going to any baseball games or concerts anytime soon, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off, and we are less than 1,000 subscribers away from 450K, so if you have not, hit that subscribe button. Join the team. All right, let's talk about the Giants and the Cardinals game, and if you're a Cardinals fan, you knew that it was going to be a long/rough day just by that sequence of events right there. Thairo Estrada, he stole second base, and he ended up scoring after a few errors. Mike Yastrzemski, he came up huge a couple times yesterday, once in the fourth on his 5th home run of the year. He's now hitting .291 with 13 RBIs after that big-time 9th inning RBI double. He got the score within 1, and Barry Bonds Jr. hit one 430 feet for the win. That guy's name is Blake Sabol. Of course, he's not Barry Bonds Jr., but his favorite player growing up was Barry Bonds. He's painted his bat to look like Barry's old, I think it was called a Sam bat, the one that actually has a bat on the bat. That was an absolute punch to the gut if you're a Cardinals fan. The Cardinals are now 9-15, which is their worst 24-game start to a season since 1973. The Red Sox and the Orioles, Boston put up a few runs early in this one versus their division rivals, and I almost cannot believe my eyes, but it might finally be happening. Jarred Kelenic, his breakout season continues, so we'll talk about that later on, but the same thing is basically happening for Jarren Duran. He's hitting .390 with 6 extra base hits, 2 stolen bases, and a 186 OPS plus after that grand slam. Obviously, he's not going to end with the 186 OPS plus, but Duran's season, it might finally be here. Corey Kluber was amazing. He allowed just 1 run, a home run to Jorge Mateo. Of course, I had to show that I'm a Jorge Mateo fanboy, but Kluber did throw 6, only needed 80 pitches to do so. Not the worst loss in the world if you're a Baltimore fan, because you guys did fight back. You got a home run from Mateo, you got a home run from Gunnar Henderson, and a huge home run from Cedric Mullins. You just had to face Kenley Jansen, who was 3 saves away from 400 for his career. He has 6 on the season and a 0 ERA. He has been a godsend for the Boston Red Sox. The Reds and the Rangers, this was one of the funniest and most flippy-floppy games I have ever seen in my entire life. So check this out. The Rangers absolutely dominated the first half of this game. They got home runs from Nathaniel Lowe, Marcus Semien, and Josh Smith, who was actually back. He got hit in the face a few weeks ago, so he's back in there and raking. Martin Perez, he was lights out as well, tossing another gem. He had 0 earned runs over 6 innings, 5 strikeouts. No chance the Reds make this comeback. Well, there's 3 separate RBI singles from the Reds to get them within 3 runs. Now, they still have some work to do, and I mean, that'll do it. Jake Fraley, he doubles in 2 more. He's only hitting .212 on the season, but he has an almost 900 OPS with runners in scoring position. Jonathan India, almost a tear to my eye. There he is, the Sweet Prince himself. I knew that he still had the talent in him. After winning Rookie of the Year in 2021, he fell off bad in 2022, but now he's almost hitting 300 with a 380 on base percentage after that go-ahead 2-run single. The Rangers bullpen has been fairly steady all season long, but their controller died or got unplugged or something yesterday. Alexis Diaz, he struck out 2. He collected his 3rd save of the year as the Reds win 7-6. The Dodgers and the Pirates, another game where the script completely flipped on its head halfway through. Now, it started off with pure jubilation for Pirates fans, even though Dodgers rookie Miguel Vargas kind of stormed the castle with a 2-run single early, but Andrew McCutchen, man, that huge 3-run home run, again, it was jubilation. He has 5 home runs. This came a few hours after the Pirates were able to snag Brian Reynolds to an 8-year contract extension. They're about to win their 8th win in a row. Just here comes rookie Michael Busch and the Dodgers. That's his first career RBI. That guy is so good. He absolutely rakes. And CT3, Chris Taylor, ruined a damn near perfect game for Pittsburgh Pirates fans. He's only hitting 163 with 8 hits on the year, but 5 of those 8 hits have been via the long ball. LA, they do stop Pittsburgh's winning streak, but hey, they're still in first place, talking about the Pirates. I know a lot of you guys do not care at all about the Tigers, but this Kerry Carpenter kid, his power is legit, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe that the Tigers took so long to give him consistent at-bats. Kerry Carpenter is top 5% in barrel percentage, and he has 10 home runs in his first 49 games. If he played a full 162-game schedule, he would be on pace for a 30-plus home run season. Spencer Torkelson, he is trying his best to keep refining his mechanics. He's up to 11 RBIs after the RBI single, and good thing he knocked in Baez, because Milwaukee, they kept on inching their way back into it. Now a one-run game after Rowdy Tellez blasted off for his 8th of the year. Luckily, Detroit has a kid named Mason Engler, I think that's how you say his name. He struck out 4 over nearly 3 perfect innings of shutout relief. And then you have Jason Foley, who continues to look nasty. He strikes out 2. He grabbed a 2nd save of the year. The Tigers have won 2 in a row against a really good Brewers team. The Astros and the Rays. Tampa Bay is trying to extend their modern-day record. They've started the season 14-0 at home. They're going to try and make it 15-0, but again, they are facing a pretty tough Houston Astros squad. Luis Garcia and Drew Rasmussen, they were matching each other pitch for pitch, and they both got through 4 without allowing any damage. But Houston's offense woke up in the 5th. They remembered that they are in fact the Houston Astros, the defending champions. Jeremy Pena had an RBI double that started a 5-run rally in the 5th inning. Kyle Tucker, he's hitting .301 with 19 RBIs. Jose Abreu has been horrific to begin his tenure with the Astros, so that RBI extra base hit was huge. Rookie Corey Julks, he stays hot with an RBI double. Luis Garcia did not let that long inning affect him because he was in the dugout just kind of waiting around for the scoring to stop, but he went back out there. He threw a shutout 5th inning and 6th inning. He only allowed 3 base hits with 7 strikeouts the entire day. That was his best start in quite some time. The Astros won 5-0, so they do stop the streak of the Rays. The Toronto Blue Jays and the Chicago White Sox, it blows my mind that the Jays once upon a time had Alejandro Kirk, Gabriel Moreno, and this guy right here, Danny Jansen, all on the same roster. Jansen now has 28 home runs over his last 157 games, which is ridiculous for an elite defensive catcher. Kevin Kiermaier, he tripled in 2 more. He has been a godsend when you consider Bradley Zimmer and Ramiel Tapia were out there wasting away in center field just a season ago. There's Jansen again, so make it 29 home runs over his last 157 games. Wait, hold on. So it's 7-0 going into the 7th. Jose Barrios is on the bump. Is he back? Barrios tossed 7 shutout innings with a season-high 9 punched outs. He only walked 1 hitter. That means he has 3 earned runs over his last 20-ish innings pitched. He has back-to-back starts where he went 7 innings. So Toronto is cruising now with a 15-9 record, while the White Sox are floundering already. They're 7-17. What happened, man? They're so good on paper, but their pitching just stinks. The Nationals and the Mets, I'm going to need you guys to all start repenting for your sins right now. I don't care if you're a believer or a non-believer. Jesus is coming back. Why do you say that, Fuzz? Well, let me go ahead and tell you. It's because the Nationals have scored a grand total of 1 or 2 runs for Josiah Gray the entire season. And yesterday, they scored not just 1 on Keibert Ruiz's 2nd home run of the year, not just 2 after that Joey Meneses single, but they scored a whopping 4 runs for Josiah Gray. I know it sounds like I'm mocking them, and that's because I am. Josiah Gray has been so good this entire year. I could not be happier for him that he finally got a W. He turned in his best start of his career. He lowered his season ERA to 2.93 after shutting out the Mets over 6 innings. He struck out 9, only allowed 5 base runners. Even reliever Mason Thompson, he looked fantastic. 3 shutout innings in relief with 4 strikeouts, only 1 hit. Mason Thompson has a 2.08 ERA since the beginning of last year. The Nationals win easy, 5-0. So we'll talk about the Cubs fans messing with Tatis after we roll the highlights of the Cubs versus the Padres. Yan Gomes is one of the handful of older players who have seemingly been taking shots directly from the fountain of youth. This is bananas. That was his fifth home run of the year. He's always had sneaky pop as a catcher, but he's almost 36 years old, hitting .309 with a 141 OPS plus. Anyways, back to the pitching for the Cubs. Justin Steele is turning into a star, and I don't say that lightly. The dude is an absolute stud. After blanking the Padres, he lowered his season ERA to 1.19, which is the best in the National League. Since last year, he has a combined 2.7 ERA and 155 strikeouts and 149 innings. He struck out Juan Soto a couple times, which isn't easy to do despite Juan Soto's struggles. We'll talk about that later on in just a second. Gomes secured another RBI, and Nico Horner is basically the Justin Steele of hitters. Super underrated. Nico has a 20-game on-base streak. He's hitting .292 with 12 home runs, 29 stolen bases, and 4 DRS since last season began. The Cubs are 13-9. They have a plus 45 run differential. They're 2nd in OPS as an offense and 6th in ERA as a pitching staff. The Cubs are good. Now, obviously, Cubs were feeling themselves yesterday because they won easy, and they started trolling Fernando Tatis by chanting this.
He's on steroids! He's on steroids! He's on steroids! He's on steroids!
The Angels and the A's. Brandon Drury has been an extra base machine the last week. Angels fans are probably saying about time because he was awful the first few weeks. That 2-run triple gives him 6 RBIs over his last 6 games. Rengifo and Urshela, they both contributed with some RBI singles. Griffith Canning, he was pretty solid yet again. He did give up a nuke to Shea Langoliers, and I just want to show this because this guy does not cheat his own fans. He only hits moonshots, 11 home runs in his first 61 games, and he's top 19% in sprint speed as a catcher. He's very good at throwing out runners as well. Griffin Canning struck out 7, and Taylor Ward made it a 5 spot. Matt Moore and Carlos Estevez, they're joining Kevin Kiermaier and Kenley Jansen as godsends in today's MLB recap. Matt Moore has a 1.46 ERA, and Carlos, he retired 6 straight to close this one out. He has 4 saves and a 1.54 ERA. The Angels have blown 7 out of 15 save opportunities, so that's where they're going to have to really come in huge. The Mariners faced off against the Phillies, and Marco Gonzalez, he is never going to wow you with nasty stuff, but he's crafty enough to be a good pitcher every so often. He threw 4 scoreless to start this one against the Phillies, but so did his counterpart Bailey Falter, and there's that kid again. Jared Kelenic, he's officially arrived. That was his 7th home run of the season. He's hitting .421 with 4 extra base hits versus lefties this year, which is the best sign of all in my opinion. Marco, he only allowed 1 run over 5 innings, and Teoscar Hernandez, he blasted off for a 6th home run of the season. By the way, he's playing fantastic defense, and I did not realize that Teoscar was top 14% in sprint speed, so he's kind of breaking out all over again. Paul Sewald, he was shaky at best. He allowed a run on a few base hits, but ultimately he closed it out for a 7th save. The Mariners are 11-12. The Phillies are 11-13. 2 very disappointing teams to begin the season, but they're going to be just fine. Braves fans got to be over the moon with how good Charlie Morton has looked over his last few starts. He impressed yet again last night. He got a bunch of run support on some singles from Riley, Grissom, Hilliard, and there's an extra base hit for Kevin Pillar. And I'm so happy that Ozzie Albies is back and raking, and Ronald, he's yet again a top 5 player in baseball. Ozzie Albies hit his 6th home run of the season. He gave Charlie Morton a huge lead to work with. Morton, by the way, has gone 3 or 4 consecutive starts with 6+ innings with 2 earned runs or fewer. He struck out 9 Marlins over 7. Eddie Rosario has a home run in back-to-back games, and Ozzie Albies now has 7 home runs, 23 RBIs on the season. That 23 RBIs is number 1 in the National League. Now, speaking of leading the National League, Ronald is number 1 in runs, hits, stolen bases, and quieting the haters. He had so many haters last year. I'm just happy that he's back. The Rockies faced off against Cleveland, and that's the 40th time in his career that Charlie Blackmon has done that. That was his 40th career leadoff home run, and the youngsters, they came in huge for Colorado. Ryan Feltner, he delivered 6 amazing innings, like genuinely really good, 6 strikeouts, no walks, and look at Brenton Doyle. He hit 26 home runs with 23 stolen bases last year in AAA. He showed off the tools in this one. An RBI double for his first career extra base hit. Colorado has now won 2 in a row, and Cleveland, they have notoriously always been slow starters, so I'm not worried in the slightest, although I kind of am. I'm worried because the Minnesota Twins are a real and legit threat this year. Donnie Barrels, aka Donovan Solano, he rips an RBI double. Jorge Polanco matches him right after that with his own RBI 2-bagger. Polanco has 5 extra base hits in his first 5 games of the season. Byron Buxton blasted off for his 4th home run of the year. He has not yet attempted to steal a bag this year, which is probably smart considering he gets injured pretty often, even though he's still top 4% in sprint speed. That right there is a very, very large human. Trevor Larnach hit a 420-foot missile, his 3rd of the year, and Minnesota starting pitcher Joe Ryan cruised to his league best 5th win already. He didn't walk anyone. He went 7 strong with 1 earned run allowed. He struck out 7. They have won 3 in a row. Now, one random clip I do want to show, Aaron Hicks, he was kind of dogging it. He was jogging to a fly ball in left field. Ultimately, he dropped it or missed it entirely. Yeah, is it time to cut the cord? Probably so. Aaron Hicks and his time in a Yankee uniform should probably be over. The Royals and the Diamondbacks, Brady Singer used those 2 early runs from Olivares and Lopez to cruise through 3 scoreless. Now, I do want to show this clip from Corbin Carroll because he hit this baseball 422 feet. I cannot believe that 1, he hit a baseball that far on that pitch, but 2, a 422-foot base hit is not a home run. That's center field in Arizona for you. He's hitting .303 with 8 doubles, 4 home runs, 10 stolen bases. He has been a top 10 talent in baseball this year. Okay, fanboy moment over. Back to Brady Singer and the Royals. Kansas City ended up with 4 runs after 5, and Singer, he was locked in all day long. He struck out 5, didn't walk anyone over 6 impressive innings. He allowed just 1 1 earned run. Scott Barlow, he finally delivered in the clutch. He had a 2.3 ERA and an almost 10.5 strikeouts per 9 from 2021 to 2022. But to begin this year, one of the worst relief pitchers in baseball. He struck out a few in a 5-out save. He grabbed his 3rd save of the year, and the Royals barely win 5-4. Do not go anywhere. I'm going to show the web gems in just a moment, but that does it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support lately. Have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy the gems.
Payoff. Swinging a fly ball to left. Going back is Sawinski to the wall and leaps up, and he made the catch!
To right center, and coming is Tatis, and that ball is going to be caught.
And a bouncer to third. Going to be a long throw for Jose. One hopper dug out by Naylor.
Polanco comes up firing. What a play!
Pitch. And Maley hits it back up the middle. That could be trouble. Backhand stops. Semien, long throw! In time, they got it!
And he swings and he lines one to left field. Peralta on the run. He dives and he makes a sensational catch.
Line and picked at shortstop by Bogarts. The throw on one hop.